supporters. But all in all, hope you are keeping track of the achievements that you've made thus far and areas where you need to pull your socks in regards to the plans and goals that you set for the year 2025. Good morning, Uganda. Julie F. Nantabamusisi is my name, here to inspire Uganda on UBC television. And with me is Robert Nyonyintono Chirabo. Good morning, Robert.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. You know, good morning, our viewers.
That.
You know, when you start with people marking achievements, this you may spoil people's mornings because they may look at this is the third month of the year.
It's the first quarter.
And there's not so much they have achieved. So
never too late though. Never
too late though. But still, I want to encourage you one day at a time.
Indeed.
That's all I'm asking of you.
And the grace is sufficient.
And the grace is sufficient. So don't overstress yourself. However, be focused, because in life we shouldn't just eat, grow, and then reach expiry and die. We must have a legacy. We must have achievements. But let that not put you so much. Yes, I was speaking to a young girl. I think she's clocked 35. And I was so stressed how I took the stress, how this young lady, because she's not gotten married, she's never given birth, how she was so stretched like nothing. I was like, come on.
I mean, there's a right time for everyone and all everything by the Creator.
Well.
Yeah.
All is well. So sometimes I learned that really there's a moment to say, Lord, all to you I surrender. You're in charge. Take control. You knew me before I was created in my mother's womb. But
preacher.
Oh, sometimes Dad's anointing comes and then our weight perishes.
I hear you.
But truth of the matter is so much happened yesterday, Julie.
Yes.
And I want to draw my attention to the Kawempe by-election. Now, we have candidates of political parties. We have an FDC candidate, we have a DP candidate, we have an NRM candidate, we have a NUP candidate. And all these have tried to hold rallies. I've seen the FDC candidate, I've seen the NRM candidate, I've seen the NUP candidate, Narukola. Yes, even when he was going to register, when he was coming from nomination, there has always been fracas. Now, yesterday, he held a rally that is at Kawempe primary grounds. And him and his principal, or the president of the party, decided to walk from Makere Kavule, where they're the NUP offices, all the way, I want to use that word, all the way to this playground. Now remember, if you're to move from Makere Kavule and you're going to Kawempe primary, one thing that is a very busy road.
It is. It is.
Now,
indeed.
they had a procession and they wanted to use the main road. I would say that would be an obvious thing to see that actually you're going to disrupt traffic. Much as it's your right as a politician, it is your right, but also think about other people who may not have an interest. Think about the traders who are delivering perishables. Think about people who are rushing for burial. Think about people who are bringing in other commodities for business. Think about them, because your intention is to get to that rally. How do you get there? Second, know your support. No doubt, I want to be very honest. NUP has support in the central. When Robert Chagulanyi stands on a car and then Narukola, people will come. Now, think about that. How best do you get to that venue? Like you're invited for weddings, you don't carry those processions. You know, sometimes our politicians tend to create a picture that whenever they walk, people, there are crowds to follow them.
So does that mean that our politicians should actually exercise a bit of wisdom and humanity as opposed to being provocative? So in other words, because the principal of NUP knows his influence on ground, which can sometimes tend to be chaotic, he should, in reality, find other means, the same means he uses to attend a wedding.
Concerts. He was at King Saha's concert. Did he move with that bang of people all the way from his place? So we should think of how best, because you want to go to that venue without confrontation. Now, that is for the politicians. Two, I want to go to the security agencies. Most of the Joint Counterterrorism Unit, JAT. I saw the regular police officers escort and clearing the way for Robert Kyagulanyi. But when he reached Kazo, JAT intercepted and fracas came in there. I also want to urge our security officers, just like we've talked about the politicians, also to have another sense of how best can we do things, not only to be rigid, as you know, this is what the law says, how best do we do things and have peace? This, handle them, do this, can we find other ways? If it means picking up this person, delivering him very speedy to the venue, or think aloud, how best than this tear gassing? Because, I want to be very honest, in all these fracases, we have the people who are never part. Some get arrested, who are never part, never threw a stone, an officer, because maybe this person is stuck running here and there, is bounded and arrested. People get hurt.
Yes.
You know, when you're running and tear gas, you know, people get hurt. People's business, some people, their lives never remain the same. How best can we do this without firing live bullets, without firing tear gas, without, I think sometimes there's also that excitement. So as we are talking about the politicians,
yes,
let's think about that. Then finally, the messages we deliver on these campaigns,
the rallies,
on these rallies, we that have the opportunity to speak. You can't say olabanze nvudde eri mu kyalo nenzijamba zoganyiza wano ate mwaba wano mukola ki.
That's such a provocative statement.
We must understand and be realistic and be knowledgeable and wise as serpents. How best? Because these young boys, and I want to speak to the young boys finally on this, Julie. The principals, the VIPs are driven home. Or when arrested, they are released. When Chairman Nyanzi was arrested, from I was taken, I was, then he's out. When you are arrested, it may not be as them. Because who knows you that much? So think twice. That yes, these people are getting political mileage, but they need you to do that donkey work for them to continue earning successfully. Above all and finally, let's respect rights of one another. And the Electoral Commission, every election, most of by election, you meet these people and give them the rules to follow. Let's abide by these rules. If there are no processions to venues, let's all abide by this. Lastly, let's have justice and enforcement equal to all. If we say no procession,
yes,
let NRM not have, let FDC not have, let NUP not have. But what causes the problem is these unfair treatments, the animal farm at play. Then you won't tell someone you can't do this when it's another person do it.
Indeed, and as civilians get quite confused when the president of Uganda says that civilians must be protected and operatives like JAT do the opposite. It's quite contradicting and no one knows or has the answers. But speaking of justice, court awarded tortured NUP official 30 million Uganda shillings. And the High Court in Kampala awarded 30 million as general damages to the registrar of the opposition National Unity Platform Party in Kasese district to atone for the bodily injuries inflicted upon him when he was abducted by security operatives in 2022 on allegations of being an ADF rebel.
Now that is my money.
Yes.
That is your taxpayers.
Yes.
That they are awarded. But good for the award. At least there is a sign that this may never heal him completely or whatever he went through. But also I want to see how the law goes to the perpetuator, not the institution, that particular. You see, there's some of these officers, much as there's the word reasonable force, they must, you see someone caning heartlessly, it should be that person to pagenda
All right, let's now have a look at what's happening on the local scene, Robert.
Well, we'll begin with the second parliamentary women that was held yesterday, where the Speaker of Parliament issued a call to action urging women leaders to advocate for the rights and protection of women and the girls against domestic violence. She was opening the second sitting of the Women's Parliament on the theme consolidating women's social and economic transformation in Uganda. The gathering conveyed women leaders from across the country united in their quest for a stronger voice on issues affecting women, including political representation, economic empowerment, and education. In the quest for a stronger voice on issues affecting women and girls, the sitting of the Women's Parliament commenced. In her opening remarks, the Speaker of Parliament, Annette Anita Among, called for action, urging women leaders to advocate for the rights and protection of women and girls against domestic violence. The Speaker also encouraged women to strive to improve on the competitiveness of women and girls. The Clerk to Parliament, Adolf Mwesige, hailed the Speaker for unwavering support towards women and girls. The House proceeded with the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the day, with Farida Kigowa winning and deputized by Macklin Natukwasa. This was followed by a session that commenced with a statement from the Minister of State for Culture, Peace Mutuzo. Minister Mutuzo emphasized responsible persons to address gender inequalities. This statement on Women's Day to Parliament highlights the need for collective action in promoting women's rights. The Karamoja Infrastructure Development Project 2 has been launched in Nadukat Town Council, Moroto District. State Minister for Health, General Duties Hanifa Kawoya officiated at the event and said in the project, 24 health facilities will be upgraded and 6 new ones constructed in 9 districts of Karamoja sub-region. Karamoja Infrastructure Development Project Phase 2 was launched at Naduget Town Council in Moroto District to enhance health care accessibility for local communities and bring vital medical services closer to the people. State Minister for Health in charge of general duties, Hanifa Kawoya, said 12.1 million euros RON will be used to upgrade 24 health facilities and construct 6 new ones. The Italian ambassador to Uganda and the director for Italian Agency for Development Cooperation said the initiative will improve the strength of health services in Karamoja. Matheniko, member of parliament, commended the government for this and asked government to ensure that there isn't any mismanagement of the project. Leaders said the project will improve service since they will be closer to the community. The initiative supported by the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation. And finally, from the local scene, the Inspectorate of Government, IG, launched the initiative requiring all public servants in the country to declare their wealth to the institution. This was communicated during the launch of the March 2025 Declaration for Leaders and Public Servants held at the Judiciary Headquarters in Kampala. The exercise will last for 1 month. The Leadership Code Act kept 33 mandates public servants to declare their income, assets and liabilities every 2 years to the Inspectorate of Government to ensure transparency and accountability in leadership positions and as a way to combat corruption within government officials. Statistics show that 10 trillion shillings is lost in corruption, which hinders growth and development of the country. With this, the Inspectorate of Government launched the 3rd March declaration period. The Chief Justice, Alfonso Owinyidoro, cautioned the Inspectorate of Government against letting public servants to work while under investigations on corruption cases. The Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Rose Lady Akelo, urged all public servants to render in the right information to the IGG's office. The Inspectorate of Government, Betty Kamya, said between 35,000 and 40,000 employees are expected to participate in the initiative and their assets will be registered digitally. The second declaration of 2025 that starts on the 1st to the 31st of this very month and year is on the theme, enhancing accountability through wealth disclosure.
All right, thank you very much, Robert, for that local update and looking at what is in What is in our foreign matters? Well, following what happened over the weekend between President Trump and President Zelensky, U.S. President Donald Trump has paused military aid to Ukraine following his clash with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky last week. This was said out by a White House official, deepening the fissure that has opened between the two one-time allies. President Trump has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well, so says Trump. And he continues to say that we are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it is contributing to a solution, said the official on Monday, speaking on the condition of anonymity. The White House has no immediate comment on the scope and amount of aid affected or how long the pause would last. The Pentagon could not provide further details. Zelensky's office did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for a comment, nor did the Ukrainian embassy in Washington. The move comes after Trump appended U.S. policy on Ukraine and Russia upon taking office in January, adopting a more conciliatory stance towards Moscow, and after an explosive confrontation with Zelensky at the White House on Friday, in which Trump criticized him for being insufficiently grateful for Washington's backing in the war with Russia. Now, the Pope Francis is alert, but that is after suffering 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure. On Monday afternoon, the Vatican said doctors were forced to intervene to clear mucus from the Pope's lungs. An update from the Holy See said, though it is said that he was alert throughout. The 88-year-old pontiff has resumed the use of an oxygen mask and ventilator to assist his breathing, but remains alert, focused and cooperative, the Vatican said. This is now the 3rd serious downturn since the 88-year-old pontiff was admitted to hospital 18 days ago with pneumonia. On Friday, Pope Francis suffered an isolated breathing crisis involving vomiting, and that is a report that the Vatican said gave, and updates from the Holy City reported that he has responded well to oxygen therapy, with Vatican officials saying that on Sunday the Pope no longer required non-invasive mechanical ventilation, only high-flow oxygen therapy. Now, following Monday's episodes, Pope Francis has resumed that mechanical ventilation, and his illness has meant that Pope Francis has been unable to deliver his traditional Angelus prayer in person for 3 weeks in a row, with the Vatican publishing his written comments instead. And still staying with matters religion, Nigerian Muslims arrested for eating in public during Ramadan. The Islamic police in the northern Nigerian state of Kano have arrested Muslims seen eating and drinking publicly, as well as those selling food at the start of Ramadan, when Muslims are supposed to fast from dawn until dusk. The deputy commander of the Hisbah, Mohajid Aminuddin, told the BBC that 20 people had been arrested for not fasting and 5 for selling food, and that the operations would continue throughout the month, which began on Saturday. It's important to note that we don't concern ourselves with non-Muslims, he said. Mr. Aminuddin said any disrespect for Ramadan would be condoned. It's heartbreaking that in such a holy month meant for fasting, adult Muslims would be seen eating and drinking publicly. We won't condone that, and that's why we went out to make arrests, he said. He said all 25 had been charged in a Sharia court and would be punished accordingly. The Hisbah official added that they sometimes get tip-offs when people are seen eating. We do get calls from people who are enraged after seeing people eating in public, and we act fast by going to the area to make arrests.
To Uganda.
I know,
Chitali
I
and
know.
Luzira would be full.
I know, if it were in Uganda, indeed, Chitali and Luzira would be full. But let's look at the press quickly. In the New Vision, police probe witchcraft in churches. Still matters religion. And pastors by day, witch doctors by night. That is on page 3 if you read into the New Vision. But also there is a picture there of Finance State Minister Privatization and Investment, Evelyn Anite, tries to lift a rock containing copper ore from left. And there's Fiona Nyamutoro there, State Minister for Energy, Ruth Nankabirwa there, Energy Minister, Matia Kasaija, Finance Minister, and Cyril Group Director Rajbir Singh Rai. This was after signing an agreement of the redevelopment of Kilembe mines yesterday. But also in the new vision, how to fast at school, that is in the teen vision. And Asio, blind to everything but the law. Her story is on page 37 to 38 of the new vision. And there is a question on cohabiting. Forget about Ramadan. Page 5 of the new vision. But also government revises nursery curriculum. And that's in page 4 of the new vision. Lastly, from the new vision, earphones killing ears, says experts. Page 6 of the new vision. Now moving on to the Daily Monitor. And so it begins. That is in regards to the campaign yesterday, Nalukola's campaign. There is a picture there of JAT, NUP supporters and the police. Very chaotic indeed if you look at it. And also 2026 litmus test, the brutality unleashed on National Unity Platform supporters in the capital Kampala yesterday ahead of a campaign rally for Kawempe North Parliamentary seat by-election could signal the beginning of a violent season as the country prepares for the 2026 general election. Now, more of that on page 2 and 3 of the Daily Monitor. But still looking at the Daily Monitor, fate of 4,000 Karimajong jailed by military hangs in the balance. And that story is on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Monitor. But also there are tenders there to look at in the Daily Monitor. Now let's look at the Daily Nation. 12 billion shillings wheat imports sink farmers into losses. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. And that some of the millers are owned by tycoons who have been in the industry for decades and believed to probably be a cartel. But also looking at companies given the green light by the government to import wheat and their respective quantities. The list of companies is there and the quantities is written on there, and a picture of loaders carry bags of wheat sourced from Narok County after drying the farm produce under the sun at Barnabas in Nakuru. But also still on the Daily Nation, money trail in hunt for suspects who killed Britton in Nairobi. That story is on page 3 of the Daily Nation. And windfall for soldier tortured after coup bid as award raised from 3 million shillings to 20 million shillings. That story is on page 12 of the Daily Nation. Still the Daily Nation, Gachagua's plot to end UDA grip on Mount Kenya. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has rolled out a political scheme designed to create a siege mentality in the populous Mount Kenya region, even as he targets President Ruto's allies for an established nation's camp that is already working on a plan to instigate multiple by-elections by seeking to have some of President Ruto's allies recalled by voters. That is on page 7 of the Daily Nation. Now, that's about it from the press. Good morning, Uganda. It's about 2 minutes to 7 a.m. We are still here. Thank you so much for joining us and for choosing to watch UBC TV as we inspire Uganda.
our friends from the private sector, mountain climbers, senior officers from the Ministry of Tourism, members of the board of Uganda Tourism Board, friends, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank Lily Ajarova for inviting me to participate in today's launch of her book. Thank you and congratulations. Apparently, Mrs. Mugisha and I come from that area. But maybe she should now be challenged that since Ajarova climbed, maybe Irene now should take courage and do the climbing. After all, she's definitely not yet 50. So therefore, she should take the challenge. We saw the documentary, The Climbing of Mountain Rwenzori. And we worked a little on that documentary. I did not know that after the documentary, Lily was planning to write a book. And therefore, I congratulate her from the documentary to the book. That's a great journey. You can work on an artistic film. And therefore, when you write a novel, you can turn a novel and write a script out of that novel. Have a producer produce a film from the novel or from a story. But in this case, the character now is Lily Ajarova. She's the character in this story, and she's writing it herself. And I think that is very, very interesting. And it is an adventure story. So maybe in future, there will be an artistic film on Ajarova having climbed Mountains of the Moon, mountain, and she could have arrived even before the other muscular characters, and she was helping them to move on. That could be the story in the future. I hope some of them have not understood what I'm talking about. You now have a book, and I congratulate you. This lady from Angar, the war girl's girl, is it? The Makerere University graduate, the Austria trained, the Ngamba Island lady, the Uganda Wildlife Authority lady, and UTB CEO. That is the author we have today. You can now add on that lady with falls named after her, the Ajarova Falls in Mount Rwenzori. I congratulate her. I really don't mind because apparently during the struggle, I was in Nebi for some time. And if you go to Nebi town, please ask for Butime Road. You'll find it there. So we can exchange. You can have Ajarova Falls there. There is, after all, Butime Roads. Butime Road in Nebi town. The Ministry of Tourism associates itself with this work of Ajarova, and we congratulate you from the point of view of you being an author, and yet you are still the CEO of Uganda Tourism Board, and we associate ourselves. Thank you for the courage. Thank you for the stamina. Thank you for the discipline. And thank you for this product. You can't write a book if you don't have a degree of discipline. It will be very, very difficult. And publishers know how difficult it can be to produce a book. And here we are. And the book is a minister's when the CEO is still serving before she becomes, or already she is, an SPA, as Mr. Mugisha was saying. I encourage everybody to buy this book. Let us read it, and it could inspire many of us. And maybe we could also revere her more than we are doing now. But at the end of the day, you need a lot of discipline to produce a work of art or to produce a book. Golola must be a very happy man, as you sing. But we're also expecting Golola's story. I think somebody should write into it. I want to thank everybody who has been able to come to grace this very, very important evening in the life of our CEO, Lily Ajarova. Congratulations, and thank you for coming. Thank you. To officially launch Echoes from Mountains of the Moon book, authored by Lily Ajarova, Chief Executive Officer, Uganda Tourism Board. A foil.
Well, welcome back from the story of the book launch of Echoes from the Mountains of the Moon book launch by Lily Ajarova. And it brings us straight to GMU Business, right from GMU Tourism Express. My name is Julie F. Nantaba-Mosisi, and looking at what we have in today's business story, France-Uganda ties is the story we're looking at. And Uganda and France have enjoyed strong bilateral and trade relations dating back to the mid-20th century. Now, their areas of collaboration span multiple sectors, including energy, logistics, agriculture, oil and gas, water and sanitation. In an interview with UBC, His Excellency Xavier Stika, the French ambassador to Uganda, credited this long-standing relationship to Uganda's investment-friendly policies and a commitment to fostering sustainable development. Now, according to Ambassador Stika, French companies lead in foreign direct investment in Uganda. And for nearly 7 decades, France has remained a key development partner for Uganda, with ties continuing to strengthen. Ambassador Xavier Stika describes the Uganda-France relationship as both mutual and symbiotic. Beyond Uganda's emerging oil and gas industry, where Total Energies is a major player, French companies have significantly invested in various sectors, particularly in water and sanitation, agriculture, and manufacturing. As a key European Union member, France advocates for better trade policies between the EU and Uganda, particularly easing access to European markets for Ugandan exports. Uganda, being an agrarian country, has faced challenges in accessing the lucrative EU market, with the main obstacle being compliance with phytosanitary standards. Now, as the relations between France and Uganda continue to grow, Ambassador Sticker appeals to Ugandans, especially the youth, to embrace the learning of French language, which could open more opportunities for engagement in business diplomacy. Well, that indeed encourages more open doors for Uganda's exports to the European market. Looking forward to how it all grows into a much larger scale. But looking at women in Kajansi factory have appealed for government support as the world gears up to celebrate International Women's Day due 8th March. Now, the spotlight is on women who are breaking barriers against all odds to make a living and create opportunities. Nevertheless, many women still face challenges, including lack of access to capital limited, market opportunities, and using outdated technology. In Kajansi, a town on the outskirts of Kampala City, women are working to make a living in clay products manufacturing industry. At the Kajansi Juakari factory, women are employed in various roles, from molding and firing clay products to managing the factory's operations. Now, the women highlight challenges they face in their daily lives, and the factory, which manufactures clay products such as max pans, partition blocks, and ventilators, is struggling to stay afloat due to lack of capital and using outdated machinery. Now, the chairperson, John Sempija, wants government to support the factory to purchase modern machinery. And besides, many women in Uganda face similar challenges in accessing capital and credit facilities to start or expand their businesses. A resident of Kajansi Town Council, Nantongo Winfred Alice, is a shoemaker who faces similar challenges, and she is calling on the government to lower terms of accessibility for funds for women businesses, so government can unlock the potential of women entrepreneurs and reduce poverty in communities. And indeed, the same outcry would be from me as well for the government to lower all requirements in regards to business for women, to make it a bit easier for women to access businesses and access tenders, large tenders with government and large business. And in any case, where women choose to do male-dominated jobs, they always triple and do better. But let's move on to the Forex and see how it stands as of 3rd March 2025. The US dollar opened at 3,671.77, buying and sold at 3,681.77. And by midday, it was at 3,671.27, dropped a bit there, and sold at 3,681.27. And by close of day, it was buying at 3,671.50 with that increase, and sold at 3,681.50. The pound was buying at 4,628.29 and sold at 4,640.90. And the euro was buying at 3,825.34 and selling at 3,835.75. The Kenyan shilling bought at 28.41 and sold at 28.48, and the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.42 and selling at 1.42. The South African rand was buying at 197.07 and selling at 197.60. Well, that's about it from Good Morning Uganda Business. Good Morning Uganda still continues, and stick around for more. It's not yet the end. Julie F. Nantaba is my name. The agenda is up next, and we also look forward to more from the sports updates.
Topic of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the MyMTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. With expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
Junko.
Yo.
What you check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that.
Okay.
The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Nsooka okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga okututeekateeka. Twali tetunnaba kuteekebwateekebwa, twafuna okusoomoozebwa nga kungi nnyo. Omuli okutukwata abasirikale, olumu nga tetulina na kitukoze. Kale nga n'akasente k'oba osonzeewo ggwe nga ggwe akagenda okukuyambako mu bizibu byo, nga weekanga okawadde abasirikale. Naye okuva ffe ghetto structure we yayimirirawo ebintu bingi byakyuka. Abaana baffe tebakyabakwata nnyo okuggyako abo abamenyi b'amateeka. Ne be bakutte nga babakwatidde mu ghetto nga ekikwekweto kibadde kiyise. Nabo tulina omukisa ogugenda okubaggyayo. Abasirikale batuwulira. Abasirikale batuwulira. Toyinza kugenda ku poliisi n'ogamba DPC nti bakutte omwana wange ng'akumanyi nti oli komanda. n'atateekayo nnyo maanyi okukola ki kumugjayo. Ne neebaza bakama baffe Jeno Damulira, Afande Kuteesa, nange tweyanzizza nnyo mukozi ky'amaanyi, bo bakoze ky'amaanyi nnyo tuteekateeka. Kuba bwe twamala okuyingira ghetto structure ne batuteekerawo ne SACCO ne certificate twazifuna. Kati bwe batteekerawo SACCO eyo, era muzeeyi n'amala n'atuukiriza kye yatugamba n'atuteekeramu ssente. Era kati eno essaawa gye tuliko tuwola abaana, tuwola ba ghetto youth ababadde balina bizinesi zaabwe naye nga zibulamu ebyokkola. Tugenda tubawa okutwaliza wamu kati tuli bulungi, tetuli bubi nnyo, era twebaliza ddala President Museveni okutukolera ekintu ekyo kuba mubutuufu twali.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. If you are just joining us, well, you haven't missed a lot because Good Morning Uganda still continues, and you are right on time for the agenda on Good Morning Uganda. My name is Julie F. Natabamosisi, and at about 2 minutes on to 8 a.m., we are celebrating women this whole week and this whole month. And in particular today, we are celebrating women in the health sector. Now, the journey of midwifery, which is what we are focusing on today, and that is the journey of midwifery in Uganda, has seen a gradual evolution from traditional midwives to professional midwives along the line. Now, many times traditional midwives are still very relevant according to communities in grassroots. They still consider them way more convenient and easy to access, yet professional midwives are also very encouraged to be a part of the community in order to sort all issues regarding labor and neonatal matters and maternity matters in Uganda. Now we are having a full conversation on celebrating, not necessarily celebrating women, but the whole conversation on midwifery, the profession of midwifery in Uganda, the experience of it, how far has it come, how far is it going, is it still relevant for us to have traditional midwives, is it not still relevant to have traditional midwives in Uganda? Now in studio with me is a very experienced and distinguished lady who has been a midwife for 31 years. Now, if you are 31 years, that means since you were born, and perhaps she could have delivered you. There are chances that she delivered you. She is in studio with us to expound and throw light on this space. Now, Dr. Emily Likichwo Opu is working with Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital, and she is the current vice president of the National Midwives Association in Uganda. We are celebrating women in the health sector, and she is here holding the banner today to expound on that field as well as show the strength of women in the health sector in Uganda. Good morning, Nurse Emily.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
We are celebrating Women's Day on the 8th of March.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel great. I feel privileged to be a woman, and it is nice.
Yeah. Now, you have been a midwife for 31 years.
Yes.
Please tell us on that journey. 31 years ago, was it a calling? Was it something you did out of prestige? Was it for the money? How did you start?
Okay, thank you for that. My journey of midwifery has been a beautiful journey, and it is a 31 years journey, which is full of joy and sadness also at the same time. I started, it was passion which drove me to be a midwife, and that deep passion for helping mothers, helping women in the community, and that really gave me the path. And then it was also a calling to care. I remember vividly, I come from a home where my mother was a nurse midwife. I remember listening to her stories, how she delivered mothers, and when she helped these young mothers, supporting the young mothers. So this really gave me incredible mark to join midwifery. So also it was commitment to serving women. As I realized, as I grew up, I saw that there were disparities in maternal and child health care. So these vulnerable women, midwifery was really plays a vital role when it comes to that, supporting these women. And then there was driven by social justice, meaning that every woman must have quality care, she must be supported for this journey. And also, the journey of midwifery has been wonderful because it's like you seeing a miracle happen, helping these mothers through their journey. I was also proud to be part of that journey. Yes.
Have you been able to meet some of the babies you've delivered along the 31-year-old journey?
Yes, I've been able to meet them. Some of them even have been given names, my name.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's very beautiful.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
I feel great. I feel good. I feel proud of the work I've done. And I feel proud of touching many lives of many women and the community.
Amazing.
Yes.
That is so inspiring.
Yes.
Now, Good Morning Uganda, the agenda, and we are celebrating women in the health sector. Dr. Nurse Emily, she corrected me and she told me that it has to be Midwife Emily. And Midwife Emily is in studio with us, 31 years of delivering babies in Uganda, very passionate about it. She was called into this profession. She feels that it's a passion and it's a calling, and she learned it from her mother, who was also a midwife, and currently she is the vice president of the National Midwives Association in Uganda. Now, to be a part of the show, you can send a WhatsApp message to 0709 602592 and do engage in on the conversation. Now, Nurse Emily,
Yes.
you mentioned that at the time you joined, there were gaps you felt you needed to be a part of in solving a problem. Have some of the problems been solved from the time you joined? Have you had any achievements in solving some of the problems?
Yeah, there are some of the challenges which have been solved because that time many mothers were still delivering at home, but you can now see so many mothers are coming to deliver from the facilities because of the, many people have started getting aware of our midwifery services. So we are getting more mothers. 75% of mothers are now delivering from the health facilities, yes, than what they used to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is encouraging.
Yes.
And speak to a woman deep down in the village. Some of them still have the mentality of sticking to traditional ways of delivering as opposed to accessing health facilities. How would you encourage a woman deep down in the village who's watching and they still feel a certain way about accessing health facilities? Usually if you go down, grassroots levels and communities, different people have different mindsets. They talk about things like, hospitals are far, the doctors are rude, and yet I still have my banana plantation, my neighbor mama so and so can help me. What would you tell a woman who still holds that mentality?
Of course, so many women are still holding the myth and misconception of midwives because of our image that most midwives are bad. We shout at them. We say so many bad things to them. So many mothers have, some of them still remain feeling that the traditional mothers can do that. But still I encourage them that midwives, as midwifery is moving on, midwives are changing. We are changing and we really take care of our mothers. We are now using evidence-based care. So we encourage all these mothers to come to deliver. So we can say some few midwives may not be welcoming, but not all. That does not discourage them from coming to access care. Yes.
So let's have a look at the current status of maternal health care in Uganda. In your perspective, 31 years later, at the time you joined and the now, what does the maternal health care look like?
Okay, the current state of care of midwifery has greatly improved. There's a lot of improvement, there's significant improvement. And before we found that that time 336 mothers were dying per 100 live births. But you have seen there's a significant improvement. Right now it has come to 189 mothers dying of maternal death in 100,000 live births. So there is a great improvement. And I think there's great improvement. Despite, I cannot say that mothers are not yet dying. There are some few challenges we are still facing. Maybe poor antenatal care yet, and then issues like staffing gaps, but there is significant improvement. From the time I joined, innovations have come in. We are able to manage these mothers, even from far, using maybe apps. They can consult, we are able to reach some of them using the apps, and then the innovations like we are able to collect data for care, which has helped significantly. Yes.
And that brings me to the thought of still traditional midwives. Is there an opportunity in Uganda where traditional midwives are taught and transformed to professional midwives? Or one has to just start from nursing school at a young age and evolve into the profession of midwifery?
Okay, the traditional midwifery was those days. Midwifery has changed greatly by now. We expect for you to be a midwife, you have to go through a training, and it should be a formal training, yes, for you to be a midwife.
Oh, so that means, because I have met people who are very passionate, and they haven't really gone to school, but for some reason they have that talent. It's just an inborn. Is there an opportunity, a platform by the government to collect all of them and take them to a training institution just to empower their calling?
Okay, we had those traditional midwives. Of course, those are the traditional birth attendants.
Yes.
But in Uganda currently, that has been discouraged. That time, they used to take them for some small trainings so that they could manage the basics. But for now, that has been stopped because we're encouraging most people, if you would like to attend to mothers, you should be trained. You should go to a training school. If some of them have the ability, yes, they can be allowed to join. Yes.
Now, in your 31-year career, what are some of the challenges you believe midwives face in Uganda?
Oh, challenges in midwives face in Uganda is mental health is a challenge. Because, you know, midwifery is it's a demanding job, both emotionally and physically, which is a burden to midwives. Midwives are struggling with mental health.
Yes.
We are there's too much work, long working hours, and really giving these midwives less time to rest. So this has been a very big challenge, which has not been really brought to light, but this is really a struggle midwives are going through right now. Yes.
We are celebrating Women in Health, and we are with Nurse Emily, who is telling us everything about midwifery. She has been doing this for the last 31 years. If you ask me, that is experience in itself. And she has been able to even meet and walk a bit of the journey of life with some of the children and babies she has delivered. Now, to be a part of this conversation, 0709602592. And I can see a couple of you are coming through. Let me just read one comment. Good morning, Uganda. Like what is on place now, in my opinion, okay, this I think came through late, but Alex, you say you are from Kiriandongo, and your question is why doctors in government hospitals ask for money, from patients, and when they are paying them a lot of salary. For example, Mulago Hospital, when you have money, they work on you faster, and when you don't have money, they'll work on you at their pace. This is Alex from Kiriandongo asking that question. What do you have to say about that, Nurse Emily?
Alex, thank you for that question. And you know, I can't talk for all.
Yes.
But it's unfortunate if this incident has happened and you've been extorted money. But in our profession, this is what is not accepted. If people are doing it, they are doing it illegally. We are not supposed to give service for money because we already paid the salary. But that's unfortunate, and we really condemn that, and we really advocate that these nurses or midwives who are doing that, or doctors, should be brought to book. Not all of us do that, but the few are making us look bad in the face of the public, the society. But that's not what we are supposed to do. Yeah.
And on that note, allow me ask you, what key areas do you believe need improvement thus far?
The key areas which needs to be improved is we have a staffing gap. Midwives are overworked. We are so few on ground. And really, we would lobby, we should ask for government to increase on the numbers of midwives, because we get burnout, we get stressed, we have anxiety because of the numbers and being few. Yes.
Now, speaking into that, I think now this could also, the net could be drawn wider in terms of the curriculum as students are in school, planning on what to do in the future with their lives. Many who, I think midwifery, for someone to do nursing, it starts from either if you want to continue, don't want to continue, you can start S4 and then go into nursing school, right?
Yes.
So for many, there's a negative connotation. It comes from a negativity of maybe you just cannot go to S5 or higher education. So the alternative of survival is branching off to midwifery, which kills the passion. It's more like the teaching sector, where people branch off to teaching as a place of survival because it's the alternative. What would you speak into, or how would you encourage a parent or someone who has the passion to do midwifery to actually take it on because they have the passion, they have the calling, and not because it's just a branch off to survive?
Okay. Many times people many times people think that when you you become a midwife or a nurse, you just cross from O level and because it's a shortcut, it's a way of survival, but that should not be the case. You joining midwifery should be a passion, should be a calling. You should love what you're going to do, because remember, you're going to deal with two lives. You're going to deal with a mother, you're going to deal with a baby. So it should really be from the depth of your heart. It should not just be a way of saying, okay, I have failed to go to A level, I can join. And currently, the government is abolishing going to, like certificate.
Yes.
Yes, just you from O level, then you're going to join this, the course. They are now encouraging people from senior 6 to make it like any other course, like someone deciding to go for engineering. It should be a choice. Yeah. So it should not just be as a last resort that let me go. That's why you get many people. If you go there because it was not a calling, those are the few who are making us look bad in the face of others.
Yes. And if you ask me, I think perhaps there should also be a sensitization drive.
Yes.
You know, from the Nurses Association, Midwifery Association in schools to encourage those who to teach, to imbue, to just amp that passion for those who have it but they don't even know yet that they have it within schools.
Okay, as the Midwifery Association of Uganda, that's one of the projects we are embarking on. We want to go to schools and talk about the beauty of midwifery.
Yes.
If you join midwifery, how you can help these mothers being part of the journey. This is what we want to encourage many other young midwives to join. Yes.
Now, when we were starting, you talked about the myths that we have, traditional midwives versus professional midwives. But now let's dig deeper into that. What are some of the myths and the misconceptions that are still surrounding maternal health at large? And how do you think they can be tackled and handled and addressed?
Of course, the myth and the misconception we had already talked about, the image of midwives out there. People know us as being rude, being harsh, but yes, I can't deny there are some midwives who do that, but we are embarking on seeing that the image of midwifery changes, and we can change that by maybe engaging with more of the midwives, as the association, so that they change their attitude. Yes. Our problem is mostly an attitude problem, and we are trying our very best to address that, so that out there we should be known as good midwives, so that mothers are encouraged to come to us. Many times mothers go to the traditional birth attendants because of the care they give. Yes.
Have you met cases where mothers have superstitious or a bit of traditional myths that are, well, illogical, but to them it's their belief and they refuse to access professional health care because of such? Have you met cases as such?
Yes. In this field, we have met such cases where, of course, you get this when these mothers now come with complications. When they have gone out there, they are mismanaged, they of course come back to you. Yes, they come back to you, so you get them with those challenges. And we have met several. After all has gone wrong, they still come to seek our care. Yes.
We are celebrating Women in Health, and midwife Emily Likichwa Opu is in studio with us to have this conversation on midwifery. She has been a midwife for 31 years. That is experience, if you ask me. And you have a question for her, if you have something to add, an opinion, please do send a WhatsApp message to 0709602592 and do get in touch. Let me read one more comment from someone here who says, good morning UBC, thank you for hosting the midwife on TV, and we thank all the work they are doing. However, I'd like midwives to always have a kind heart to those vulnerable mothers. Sometimes some midwives only take good care of those who can give them something, some money. Some midwives are vulgar and abuse mothers while in labor suit, something that is not good. This is Hamo UG. And Nurse Emily, I think this is feedback that to the National Midwives Association of Uganda.
Yes, this is feedback I have to take back so that we really work on it.
Yes, something needs to be done. And one more from Silva from Shema District. I like the way, okay, thank you very much, Silva. And greetings to Madame Emily. This is Silva.
Thank you, Silva.
From Shema.
Yes.
Now let's look at how would you encourage communities to help the sector of midwifery in delivering the best maternal health care? How can communities be involved?
Yeah, communities must be involved because this is our problem. It's not a problem, but we need to work together. We need to work in collaboration to see that these mothers get good care. It starts from the community where we are. When you meet these mothers, let's work together with the community to see that it's not about the midwives alone. It's not about the healthcare providers alone. It's also with them, especially even the men. The involvement of men in this care is very critical. Yes.
Very interesting. Yes. And this is indeed a resounding gong to men. Sometimes men think that matters of women should stay
No, this matter is for us, two of us.
And yet women
we began the journey,
I know, yes, that's very true. So men, you are encouraged to be a part of the journey of midwifery. And please encourage someone out there. Most people believe that midwifery is for only females.
Oh.
I think that is it's quite common, prevalent.
It's common, and many times, because majority of us, of course, are female.
Yes.
But however, now in Uganda, we are also starting to have male midwives. They are training the male midwives.
And I think they're already active.
They are there, not yet really. Government has not yet taken them up, but we really advocate for them to be part, because in health care, like in the health sector, you see also doctors who are male, doctors who are female.
Yes.
So we are also encouraging so that they can accept the male midwives to be part of her.
Amazing.
Yes.
0709602592. Do send in that WhatsApp message and share your opinion or ask a question to midwife Emily in regards to health sector and midwifery. Now, Midwife Emily, let's look at the general health sector.
Yes.
You are the Vice President of the National Midwives Association of Uganda.
Yes.
You are a leader.
Yes.
Leadership doesn't come easy.
No.
Yes. What problems are women in the health sector, especially women leaders, facing?
Okay, what women leaders are facing in health is, especially like in midwifery, there is still that stereotype where people think, because we are mostly women. Now, being women, many times we are not yet given that opportunity, a platform where we can sit and discuss midwifery issues. We should be given the chance to be part of it. When it comes to policy making, we should be part of that. So most times we are still looked at as women, in the profession, but we should be given a chance to sit on the higher table to discuss issues of women, because it's us who are down there who know this.
Who experience it primarily.
Yes.
Why do you think you're not yet invited at the table in regards to policy making? Because, I mean, policies only make sense if one with experience is having a say in what policy is being made and as to whether it makes sense or not. So, and I believe we have, for example, work as MPs. Why do you think it's still a struggle?
It's still a struggle because I've told you, we are still in a female-dominated profession, and most times are male. So decisions are most made by them. And I think also we as the midwives, we need to wake up, because for us also to be on the higher table, we need to showcase. We need to be there. We need to advocate. We need to lobby. We need to leverage on whatever is already there. Yes.
Interesting. Now, I'm seeing the women MPs being encouraged to.
So I also think that we should be given an opportunity as a midwife. How do they call it? Midwives MP, to stand there so that we can also have leadership. We also encourage more midwives to take up those positions. Yes.
Yes.
If we could be many of us there in the parliament, I think we could also influence.
Yes. But in the meantime, before it even gets to that point while you're lobbying for it, I think now women MPs need to be aware, because women MPs are women.
Yes.
They access maternal health care, and they need to involve.
I think we need more engagement with them. And then we really need to sit with them on table. We need to tell them what we are facing in maternal and child health, because they are women like us. They should know the challenges women face. Yes.
Are there, in regards to the policies governing midwifery in Uganda, are there some you think need to be revised? Are there some you think, which ones do you think are good, which ones do you think need to be revised?
I think we should be given opportunities, like education. The more a midwife is educated, the better for her. And then we should be granted like scholarships to see that midwives improve in their education and their care. And then they should also help us in making our working environment conducive. Yes. Yes.
And speaking of a conducive working environment, you work with Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. The facility is beautiful.
Yes.
And on top of it, not just Mulago, but there are other private spaces for women that are really, really beautiful and have the perfect health care, at least one where one can have their child safely.
Yes.
But then there are also government facilities where the neonatal and the neonatal care is fair. Let's just use the word fair. So as someone who has served for 31 years, how would you encourage, for starters, the government? How would you, what would you tell policy makers and the government to find a balance, especially for example, there are those women you find in the community who will tell you that, I go to Chirudu because one, I won't pay any money. Number two, I know I'll be safe. We thank God for that. But of course, not 100% the same service as what would be in the Mulago Neonatal Specialized Hospital. So how would you encourage the government to find the balance so that at the end of the day, women are having a safe space to deliver their babies, whether they are financially able or unable?
Okay, I would encourage government to put more funds in maternal and child health. Yes, government is doing its best, but they could really increase funding to government facilities so that where we are working is conducive, commodities are there, so that whenever a mother goes to any health facility, there must be those commodities in place which help these mothers, like the drugs must be there, and then there should be midwives to attend to these mothers. So that is the major thing. Yes.
And let's now talk to midwives, talk about midwives. I know there are midwives who obviously operate in the government hospitals, but also have their private businesses running. Sometimes it's more like teachers. I'll give an example of how teachers work in government schools, traditional schools, but because of maybe the poor pay or the pay that isn't enough, they'll find side businesses to help them survive through the economy as it goes by. So how do you expect a balance? How would you advise someone who has the passion, they want to also grow financially in the passion, but it's hard to find the balance to stay and serve the mothers of the nation in a public space and also go for their side business?
That's where we go back to the drawing board. Work balance becomes hard because working in a government facility, you know, as I told you, it's demanding.
It is.
Emotionally and physically. What I would encourage government is really to increase on the incentives for these midwives and maybe increasing our pay so that we would do one work. Instead of having this double moonlighting, you are here, tomorrow you are there, this one will not make you to really serve well the mothers. Because we needed to be in one place, do your best, but because of what is going on and we are only encouraging government to increase on some of the incentives and the salary so that this midwife stay in one place. She works in that facility and she gives her best to the mothers. Because I know having two jobs is very hard. You can't balance very well. Yes.
Yes, so that means that empowering a midwife, empowering those who work in the health sector means that you are empowering the whole maternal health system as it comes. We are celebrating women this week and this month. And with me right now in studio is midwife Emily Likichwo Opu. She is the Vice President of the National Midwives Association of Uganda, and she works with Molago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital. You have a question for her, you have a statement, you have an opinion. Please be disciplined with your words as well. 0709602592. Looking at some of your comments coming through, I'm Brian Wenger watching in Rukunjiri. I thank that midwife for the hard work. But tell her to advise those in Rukunjiri who don't care about their job.
Wow.
Please advise the midwives in Rukunjiri.
Wow. That is not nice to hear.
Yes.
But as an association, we have branches in Rukungiri, and that gives us an insight to see that we, as midwives, should really work hard. We should do our best to give to the mothers.
Yes, that is true indeed. Now, somewhere at the when we had just started, you talked about the technology part of midwifery, where you have apps. You have apps that you use to access mothers. Is there more? What technologies have been developed in the field of midwifery to improve maternal health care?
Okay, as we say, you know, innovation is the way to go.
It is.
And these apps have really helped us in consultation and then giving results to these mothers, reaching to them in time. And then there's telemedicine.
Yes.
Yeah. And then also some of the current practice we do there, we have been empowered with things like CTG machines, where we can use to hear the fetal heart of the baby, which can give us quick access, you know. And then there are many. Yeah.
There are many. And it's really been empowering for maternal health care. Now, let me go back to a few of your comments. Good morning, UBC. I'm Bwambale Inos, watching from Kasanda town. I thank all midwives worldwide and wish all women a happy week. My prayer is that my daughter joins midwifery.
Wow.
And
Thank you.
yes, this is Inos from Kasanda.
Please, let her join.
Yes, and he says that can a male also join midwifery?
Yes,
yes,
so much.
Yes.
We have a school now where male midwives are trained. It's from Lira University. We are having bachelors in midwifery, and the male are there.
Yes, they are not yet in government
They are not yet in government, but they're already training them.
In how long do you think they are joining?
Like
from the time of training,
I can't tell.
What point will they join?
I can't tell because, of course, you know, there should be some policies and people accepting.
And people
that,
accepting,
yes, that men can be midwives. Other countries are doing it, but in Uganda, we still have that bottleneck.
Someone comes through and says the gaps in health are wide. Health workers are the only professionals who are highly monitored in Uganda.
Yes.
Health workers are the only professionals dealing largely with poor communities. Yet health workers must work and wait for delayed salaries.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons they extract money. There should be a system where health workers' salaries should be taken as special and paid without delays. A hungry stomach will always change everyone's attitude to bad.
Right.
Even the disciples of Jesus broke the law by eating wheat when they were hungry.
True.
You did not leave your name, but that is a very interesting perspective.
Wow, thank you for that.
And one last one for now. Hi, why don't midwives, why aren't I think midwives given insurance to care for their lives? This is a problem, to be honest. You did not leave your name, but I think the message has reached to it.
Yeah,
deserves to reach.
The message has reached, and government is trying its level best to find, to get insurance, health insurance, which is not yet forthcoming. But I think midwives need that insurance because at the end of it, after I have served, we end up having backaches. We end up pain problems with our health. We really need that insurance. If government could really speed up on that insurance, it would be good for the profession. Yes.
All right. It's about 23 minutes on to 9 a.m. Now, as we celebrate Women's Week, Women's Month, Midwife Emily, what is your message to all women in the health sector in the world, especially in Uganda, where we understand?
My message to all health workers and the midwives is that you should build resilience in work. You should love what you're doing. Self-care is paramount. We should know that you should love yourself. You should love the profession, but you should also love yourself. You should prioritize your time. Like you get time to relax, and then you should eat well also. Yeah, you should boost yourself. You should do physical exercises as a midwife, and then the emotional status also. We should also think about our emotions. Yeah, we should be open. We should not die with problems because those are leading us to depression. Yes.
Thank you very much for sitting here and educating us on the field of midwifery.
And then we encourage many other young girls to join midwifery.
Yes.
It's nice to deal, it's nice to be a witness to the journey of giving life. Yes.
Thank you very much, Midwife Emily. Thank you so much for being on the show and for watching the agenda. Thank you so much for your comments. I can see quite they're still coming through, but time is not on our side. For now, we bring it to that close. We continue to celebrate women this week. We continue to celebrate women this month. And in particular, we have been celebrating women in the health sector. Good Morning Uganda continues, and Ruben will be coming through with the sports.
Thank you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. With expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community,